spending all day digesting the new Territory Battle info. Been making graphics for the past 10 hours. I'm a little crazy right now, but I got a little mental break because holy cow, this is some really cool stuff that was discovered in the bowels of the latest update. So I will be talking more about this either tomorrow or the day after, trying to digest all that text vomit CG sent our way and make it into more comprehensible for this Territory Battle. It's hard to sugarcoat a turd, but we're gonna do our best. So there's an update that you can download now. Again, don't do this update unless you've taken care of your scavenger gear to relic conversion, all that fun stuff. I've already done so on both of my accounts. And with this update, you got the double gear drops, all that other fun stuff, but it also brings the addition of the brand new Territory, at least setting the foundation of that. But the thing I'm bringing to your attention today is with new updates, there's generally some goodies dug deep beneath, and the people over at SWGoH event, kind of the unofficial yet official Discord server of Galaxy of Heroes, that has pulled out a lot of interesting character assets. And remember a few weeks ago, we talked about what looks to be the alleged road plan of 2023 for Galaxy that was leaked. And I told you guys, you know, it could just be made up mumbo jumbo. Well, this kind of maybe corroborates that a little bit. Let's go over there and talk about what we got here. So in the data mine, I'm just going to start it off right here. Look at this. Our first look at Bad Batch Crosshair in his Imperial form, my friends. We've been asking, where's Crosshair? Where's Crosshair? And here he is, ladies and gentlemen. My gosh, it's great seeing him. I think this is a character that a lot of people are hyped out about. Now, let me preface this before we get too far into the weeds of all this. This is one of many characters that we're going to be talking about today. I'm assuming this data mine is mostly pertaining to the Territory Battle. So we're likely going to fight Crosshair, if I had to guess, inside the Territory Battle. But my suspicions, based off some of the leaks, quote unquote, that we've heard about, my suspicions, we're probably going to see this character be added inside of the new Territory Battles to play with, or maybe as a new marquee character down the road. So just want to emphasize, this does not mean the character's coming into your roster, but you really think they're going to add Crosshair? I know that's going to be a big money-making character. Bad Batch Imperial, it's got a freaking black helmet on. You think they're not going to sell that? I'm pretty confident they're going to do so. And actually, now that the update finally pushed its way through in the game, if you do update it, you can see we have our new Territory Battle currency, which caps you at 20,000. So no longer can you hoard currency. And I'm not crazy impressed with what I can buy with it yet. We're not going to see the full entire store quite yet. But when I took a look at some of the stuff, we'll talk about that more in the Territory Battle in-depth review or so that I have planned out here. So who knows? Maybe they'll add Bad Batch Crosshair. Well, it's not Bad Batch, it's Imperial Crosshair at that point. Let's keep moving on to more exciting stuff. Hey, you guys remember that video where I broke down the alleged rumors and leaks that I heard? Well, wow, what do you know? It's like it fell straight out of the sky. Our first look at the Purge Trooper, my friends. So again, I'm gonna make the assumption, since this is data mine with this is pretty much mostly a Territory Battle gear economy update, my suspicion is gonna be something you're gonna see inside of the Territory Battles. But kind of like this guy, CG knows that evil people, or I should say evil, what's really evil nowadays, it's kind of hard, it depends on your point of view, but a Purge Trooper, dark helmet, with the blaster, it's another one of those big selling characters that I know people are gonna love to have. And with the new Jedi series coming out next year, we have what is it, Jedi Survivor? Come on, you don't think you're gonna be seeing this inside your roster? So our first look, and again, so who knows if those leaked rumors are maybe, I mean, one thing's for sure, those leaked rumors had some degree of reality, some degree of certainty. They called out this as well as several other things that we're going to be talking about. So it's hard to say if it's just going to be a Territory Battle thing you're going to fight, or maybe it's a character you're going to add to your roster. Next thing, this was really out of left field. I did not see this coming. And this, you know, I wish I was surprised, but I kind of knew this was going to come in some sort of capacity. This really surprised me. I didn't hear anything about this. Galen Erso, one of the big mega minds behind the Death Star that we got to learn a little bit about inside of Rogue One. It's in his Imperial attire, my friends. So again, is it a Territory Battle only thing that you're going to see in certain nodes, or is this going to be a character that you're also going to get in your roster? My suspicion is when we're going to be talking about this Territory Battle stuff more in depth, is that we're going to be seeing these characters for you to play with, especially since the crazy amount of stuff you got to platoon. But time will tell. Another thing that really threw me off guard, again, all this stuff seems very reasonable. We have Cham Syndulla, the Twi'lek father of Hera Syndulla that we saw. I don't remember if we saw them in the Clone Wars. I'm sure some of you guys can maybe correct my tactical scans, but for sure we saw it in the Rebels TV series. Hera's father. I want to believe we did see him in the Clone Wars. I could be making some stuff up right now. Was it in the Bad Batch series, Gary? I don't know. Double check. Yeah, come on. Get good. What do you think you're here for? Just to look good? Because you don't look good, I'll tell you that much. Anyways, this also makes somewhat sense again in one of my graphics I made. One of the things we're going to need is a Phoenix team, and having Phoenix at high relics doesn't really appeal to me. I mean, granted, they can maybe be beneficial for the ships for profundity, but otherwise it doesn't interest me to get Phoenix up to high gear for specific missions. But if they add a Cham Syndulla with maybe some big Phoenix boosters, that might get people a tad bit more excited. They having to do some crazy relic upgrades for the Phoenix. Another reason why I want to bring this up is because with the platoons, when I was looking at them, a lot of them are picking apart a lot of good teams. And like the Territorial, since they're pulling apart teams in the platoons or the operations as they're calling it, you need to kind of bring out new teams, fill out those gaps. And this could be one of those things for the Phoenix Squadron. There's a couple of Phoenix related things inside of the operations that we'll talk about in a later video here. Moving on here. It's okay. I know we have beefs of Galaxies. I have tons of beef. I have probably more beef than anyone when it comes to Galaxy of Heroes. But again, the one thing that I just love, and it gets me excited. Yes, I wish there was more magical content per se in the game that makes you really go through a Star Wars experience. But the thing that I really enjoy about Galaxy that makes it interesting, it's always gonna hold a place in my heart, is that you're gonna collect characters from areas you never expect. This is the, what's her name again? It's the Jocastanu. I'm looking at the data mine tech. I don't know how to say it, but it's the librarian. This is very random. Are we supposed to fight her? Maybe on the dark path or something like that? I don't know. I want to see this character's kit. Let me tell you, this one's not as interesting. Maybe I should be taking more interest. I can't tell if this is the mining guild, but the text says partisan fighter. My guess is we might see this on a mixed path. If I had to guess, not quite sure where this would slot in terms of new characters. I'm sure once the territory goes up and running, we might see some more stuff. So this one, out of all the data mine stuff, doesn't really ring any bells, get me that excited. But it looks like the mining guild, if I had to recall, right? I'm pretty sure it's the mining guild. This one, again, you know, when I said take what I say with a grain of salt, right, a few weeks ago, and I said, you know, there's allegedly some Pike stuff happening. We have our first look at a Pike Sentinel unit inside of Galaxies. Again, don't want to get people too excited, you know, not to say, you know, it's going to be added to your roster as a playable character that you can farm, but when we need a lot more mixed like factions, you think we're going to be passing up on this type of stuff? This gets me really excited for that alleged 2023 roadmap leak, seeing the Pike Sentinel, which we saw a little bit inside of Clone Wars, but we also saw a little bit inside of Book of Boba Fett. This seems ripe to be fleshed out a little bit more, coming out in 2023. So again, another thing that kind of corroborates a leak that happened several weeks, maybe even months before this data mine came up. So if all I'm saying is that it's giving some credibility to those leaks. These are very specific things that are being called out in this data mine now. So all I'm hoping is that we can get our hands on these characters. I mean, it's cool seeing them in territory battles and all, but I want to get a hold of them, and I'm feeling fairly confident. A lot of these big name characters we're going to get our hands on. And then here's our first look at the third sister Reva portrait. That's going to be tied into new territory battles. And the one thing, we already did the kit reveal and all that, card in the top right hand corner. We know this is definitely the case. We've heard about for a few months now that Reva was coming to Star Wars Galaxies. I'm curious, did they actually add her inside of the roster now? Yep, there she is. She's actually already in game. Third sister Reva, territory battle exclusive. You're gonna need the Grand Inquisitor. You're gonna need the other Inquisitors at some pretty nasty relic levels. And right now, again, we'll talk more about this territory battles. I know people have been waiting for it, and I'm trying to do CG's job of making the information more digestible, and it's taken me at least 8-9 hours to compose the graphics, so it's taking a little bit longer than I anticipated. But the point I'm getting at is yes, the requirements are absurd and all that, and we'll talk more about that later. all I'm focused on are like really getting my Inquisitors up and running, and my main goal is to get Reva unlocked so I can do some testing. That's usually how I look at these territorials. Every time I get a new territorial, things go crazy, people go nuts, and the guilds break up and merge. It happens. It sucks. But normally at the end of the day, people are focused on getting the exclusive character, and then they kind of relax a little bit at the end of the day. So we'll talk more about that in my more of a deeper analysis and feelings on this new territory battle here. But again, at the end of the day, the thing that really just gets me excited is seeing the potential of all these characters making their way into our roster and just seeing that alleged leak stuff is yet again, it's got some legitimacy to it, at least to some degree. Will they be added to our rosters? Well, I guess time will tell. But thank you all so much for coming out today. Greatly appreciate all the time you've spent around here in the Kyber Empire. And man, we got a lot of work to keep on growing and keep the change pushing. Leave that like, comment down below, subscribe to the ever-growing Empire. And always remember, it's great to be in the Empire today.
Oh, it's great to be in the Empire today. The sun never sets.